there, Planet Zooers. It's Mathletee here with my Houston Zoo aquarium build found in the Steam workshop. We're going to place the build, do the pass, and have a little walkthrough. So here you can see I've pushed X for advanced placement. And I'm going to spin around, get it set how I like. Once you have it rotated to fit your zoo, you're going to want to sink it down so the red tile is hidden and the green tile shows. Once I get mine nice, I like to check the foundation, make sure that it's good, and then you can go ahead and place it and delete the tiles. This was a really fun build. I used a lot of Google images from Google Earth to walk around, give it a look. I actually live in Houston, so I do need to go visit. They have updated the zoo, so the aquarium area is outdated. It's blue in this build, but if you actually go visit, some of the pictures I saw of the updated aquarium, everything is bright and white, but all of the images from Google Earth were blue, so I went ahead and went with that theme. I added the big billboard with the red panda. There was actually an image of the zoo, then they had a big banner featuring that animal. So I have targeted advertising to some of the shops that are in the build, and you can change that once you have habitats to send your guests to go check out. So making sure that everything's level before I do my grid pathing. Otherwise, you may run into not being able to place your path down because it hasn't all been leveled to foundation. And if you'd like to have any of the files that I've used here, some of them I custom made, some I used from the Houston Zoo website. They are in a Dropbox. The link can be found on the Steam item, so you can customize the billboards the way I have here. And I was trying to see if I could get it to path out a little closer to those shops hidden inside the ticket booth. It wouldn't let me, so I went over here to continue my grid pathing. The entrance is a little backwards in game, but is realistic to real life. So the guests will spawn past the stores to go into the zoo entrance, but I wanted to hide shops for them to interact with, so it looks like they're buying tickets. So some of your guests may come in, then go through the entrance and back to the shops. Press Control so you can separate the path, get it under the wildlife conservation animal talk. It's more for looks. That is what they had in the zoo, so I went ahead and placed it. I was trying to get it perfect over that staff path, but I realized it was all grouped together, so for the essence of time, I left it where it was with the staff path peeking a little bit. So I wanted to get the angle right, so I used Control to get out there a little bit so I could get the path how I wanted it to be. And into the aquarium we go, and then outside. My camera controls aren't that great all the time. Sorry if it's a little jerky on you. And there's a couple of utilities out here for when I did the penguin habitat version. And I left them in case anybody wanted to add aquatic animals. And I struggled a little bit getting it to connect the way I wanted to. It kept wanting to force the connection to the exhibit inside. Finally, I get it the way I want it to be, and we're back inside the aquarium. Finish off the last little path into that exhibit it was trying to connect to from outside. If you'd like, you can always put a staff path there anyway, so they can get to it. Before you do your pathing into the aquarium area, you will need to add the habitat barriers And so when I did this, I did it from the top level, raised it all the way up to match it. I had the length of the barrier at 2 or 3 meters so that I could place it and then adjust to match each little notch in the ceiling there. I tried to do it the first time all low, and then when I raised it up, it was obstructed by different things. So this is the best way to make sure you can get it as high as you like it. And then the reason I did mine so high is I thought it was kind of neat that the windows, if they're working and researching, up there they have a nice little view into the aquarium from above. So just going around, getting it just right, placing, grabbing the bottom, to shorten it up. I couldn't find the perfect meter to do this in. And the view is a little difficult. It's a little cramped in there. The camera likes to move around. Even when I turn it off on the follow and move, it doesn't always get me in the right places. I had a lot of fun doing the aquarium part of this. I used a lot of workshop items to fill the aquarium. So if you'd like to go find those items, they're also linked. So you can subscribe to those content creators of the fish, the coral, the rock work I did myself. I need to update this. There is one random air rock that needs to be deleted. So as you're going around, you'll probably see it. It's part of a group. So you have to double click it and then delete it so you don't accidentally delete the entire group. A little section without any decorations is because it's covered up on the other side by aquariums. In the actual Houston Zoo, they have smaller aquariums as you walk around the big one. So I just left that part empty since you can't see into it and made a big circle just to make it easier for myself, filling it in with water. I do like to use the crystal clear option on the water. There's different ones you can use. This is my favorite. I like the view. You can see into it really good no matter what animal's in there. And for this one, it's a little tricky. I suggest that you go outside of the zoo, which is what I'm going to do. Make a flat little surface so that you can make a very, very small glass area to fill in with water. If you decide you don't want to do this part, you can just add glass panes and imply that instead of actually filling it with habitat and water. So getting it just right is a little tricky. You do have to use the curved barrier. So the first one is always going to be straight. And I want to thank Paul's Lee for his little tutorial on how to do these. That was how I learned the trick. I tried starting off using a 2-meter panel. It was not cooperating, so I moved it to 3 and curve around until it lets you place it as tight as possible. And then before you do that little section, you need to delete the straight piece and you'll end up with 4. It does like to try to auto connect and make a really weird shaped one, but you do need all 4 sides. Once you have it, you can highlight it, hit the circle, select the whole barrier, and drag it over to place around the fish right as you walk in. And then you can add water to it after you raise it up. There is a spotlight hiding up there, so if that light's too bright for your liking, you can go find it. It's hidden. I think you just barely caught a glimpse of it as we went in to add the water, so you can lessen how bright that light is. Setting the path to go around the aquarium here, it does want to auto connect directly into that exhibit for you. It took me a few tries to get it to where I could path it how I wanted it to be, so it'll make a Y junction right there going around the first aquarium in there. What I end up doing, you'll see in a moment, is using control to slide out and place one path piece to the left of that aquarium over there so that I can get the correct angle coming into the path and then get a correct angle coming out, and holding control to keep it again from attaching to things I don't want it to. As the floor is going to cover most of your pathing, it doesn't really matter how perfect it is. And it's okay if it goes underneath the billboards a little bit. I did place several trash cans back there to try to keep people from phasing through the walls, since they ignore the building elements of the game. And it's a good little trick. Anytime you have items that are built over paths that you do not want guests wandering through, you can try to put trash cans through there to keep them hopefully from walking through walls you don't want them to walk through. I have a lot of alerts that were happening. I was building with the game on. I don't play in Sandbox very often, and I forget that I can put it back to day. So I apologize for the darkness, as when I come out of the aquarium area, it is nighttime. I play a lot of franchise mode, so I'm quite used to building in the dark. It seems every time I decide to start building, darkness falls. It's never daylight. It seems to be my curse. And usually I have to pause so that I can finish my builds because of different alerts happening. Over to the right is an area that is going to need some stairs to go up to where I think I have a workshop and a research center. And I cannot remember the third item that is up there, but it's one of the essential staff facilities. So I have curved pathing on here. You can go through and do your settings however you like. You can turn rails on, supports off. I'm not sure why it paused so long here. I probably had an animal that lives in my house, one outside, and I forgot to edit that little snip out. But in a moment it's going to continue, and we're going to travel up. So it looks like I used 2 steps of elevation to go up in here. And you can follow the walls and the path lights to try to line up as best as you can. It's not always easy to path exactly the same as it was originally. I wish the game would just hold the paths when you do a big blueprint like these. Unfortunately, it does not. So there's the research center, and I'm just curving around. I did make little curves so that you guys could follow along. I wasn't too worried about if the floor showed or not, because this is not a guest area. So outside, I do need to still connect for them to get from the entrance spawn area to the actual entrance area. I always get the names confused on that. I used a 5-meter path to squeeze between those 2 buildings, and then headed over to our gift shop and cafe. There is a power supply and a staff building hidden back there. There's also several different vendors hidden in here. So behind each of these glass coolers, there is a food or drink vendor. I got that out of a build on a Steam Workshop item. It's linked as well on the Steam Workshop that I took it from. I thought it was super cute and decided to use it to hide away the fronts of the shops. So they'll interact with it, make it look like they're picking out a drink. And I used grid pathing all through here. And to keep them from walking through the walls, I did not just grid path the entire area. I did come out over here and only do 1 step out through each of the archways. So if you just select the grid from any of those vendors, it'll give you a good grid to build on. In the gift shop, there are 3 souvenir shops. One is hidden right there where it says Houston Zoo, and there's another one hidden near the doors next to the other plushies, and there's a third one which you can't see. We're kind of over it at the moment, and there it is. And they're inside the pillar parts of the building, the round parts. I decided I wanted to hide away all the shops in here and give it a realistic look. So make sure that you do get the paths close. They don't necessarily have to connect. As long as the path goes by, your guests can still interact with them. I like to try to connect them. I'm just quirky that way. So I'm just going around double checking that they are pathed. There are 2 bathrooms in there as well, and so they're marked. So I was just going around getting that last little bit of connection into all the different shops. Off to the left there where it says staff only, that is where the power supply is, as well as the staff area. I turned on 90 degrees so that I could get it to go straight in instead of giving it curves outside of the building. Sometimes you do have to delete things. The pathing system in this game is a little wonky. It doesn't always do things how you want it to. Once you get it all pathed up, I think we're about ready for our tour of the Houston Zoo if you haven't seen it enough. But I'm going to get animals in, get some guests in, and have a little bit of walkthrough once I get done with the path around here. And we're going to add those exhibit animals so we can get our guests going, have some fun in the zoo. I will be doing the rest of the Houston Zoo. I'm going to start a series on it. I thought it'd be really fun, since I live here, to duplicate the zoo as best as I can. And so I'll start a series soon on the rest of the zoo. Some of my planters I wasn't too happy with, but they are quite ugly. From looking at the Google Earth images, they use a lot of scraggly green plants. They're not very pretty. So there is a little tucked away section with another staff rest area, and I built it through so that the keepers can come in from the back side to get to those 2 little exhibits that are right there. I decided to come in and place one path by itself so I could get the pathing to cooperate with me. And now we're ready to add those animals. So I'm adding my Goliath frogs. I tried to pick animals that were aquatic in nature for the exhibits. We're at the entrance of the Houston Zoo now, ready to walk around. I like the See Them, Save Them slogan that the Houston Zoo uses. We're going to go into the gift shop here through our exit only sign. We'll be a little bit of rebels. And inside here you do have 3 vendors that are hidden. One is right here, and then the other 2 are to the right and behind us. Inside the cafe, there are 2 restrooms and 3 food drink vendors. I used the coolers out of a gift shop that I've linked in the workshop description to source who created those. I really loved them. I thought they were super innovative and a great way to hide away the front of the shop, make it look like guests are shopping. I also borrowed the butterfly lights at the ceiling from that same gift shop. And then headed out here towards the left. I just wanted to show that we had some staff facilities over here. There's the quarantine, and I'm not sure what else I put here. It looks like the vet surgery. I will be beginning a speed build series, continuing the Houston Zoo. So look for that on my channel coming soon. We're headed over to the actual entrance to give it a look. I did notice that my ticket booth computer area was comically large. I did not fix it during this recording. However, I did go back and update my blueprints of the individual items. I did not update the zoo. All I did was move the gorilla, move the seal a little higher, and then sink it down into the ground so it's not comically above all the guests as they walk by. I got a good chuckle when I noticed it. I thought to myself, how did I not notice that before? So use of the archer or putting a staff member down is a good thing to do to make sure you get some of the scale right. And we're going to walk through here in our aquarium. There's a good look at the green iguana exhibit right there. Again, I did just use still images on my billboards. You can go back and change them to any kind of aquarium that you like. Some of them are a little comically large as well. I just did some screenshots off of YouTube to get the images of different aquarium feeds. There are some good YouTube videos out there to help you learn how to use those billboards if you do not know how already. And then we're going to take another peek up here just to remind you guys that we do have the staff facilities hiding up here. And just getting a view of which ones are. So your trade center, your workshop, and a research center are hidden in the roof of the aquarium. This also has a custom roof on it, so it has a lot of pieces. I did not group all of them together in the blueprint. I probably should go back and update it, as well as update my comically large entrance computers, which the computer is also not built by me. It was built by another STEAM workshop person. I've used it quite often. I love that computer workshop item. Getting a look at the other staff facilities that are outside, and then coming back out towards the entrance of the zoo, you will notice that the guests, like I said earlier, they come through the entrance and then turn around and go back to the shops. Once you build some items of interest for them to go to, I'm sure they'll stop doing that as often. I hope you enjoyed this video of my Houston Zoo entrance. Thank you for watching. May the RNG odds be ever in your favor, and I hope you guys have a great day.